Welcome back to Amazement Square Anywhere. Today is WonderArt Wednesday, and we are going to do some fun things with rocks today. I have my special guest today is Mr. Joshua. He works here at Amazement Square. Mr. Joshua, tell us what you do.
Yes, I am the official visitors supervisor here at the museum, and I focus in on making sure all the kids and the parents have as much fun as they can, and I sort of manage the whole enterprise of that on hand. Yes.
That's awesome. I know the kids just love you, Mr. Joshua.
It's a blast every time to see them as well too.
It is. So today we have two different things we're going to do with rocks, and the first one is called hot rocks. So the first thing you have to do for both of our projects today is find some rocks. I have an assortment of rocks here that I've found in different places. Some of them I found outside. This is just normal gravel that you can find anywhere near edges of parking lots. And some of them are stones that you can find near a creek or maybe out for a walk, walking in the woods. And some of them I've actually purchased from places that sell craft supplies, and you can also get them at garden centers or places that sell mulch. I actually got a few of them at a place like that today also. So, since it's called hot rocks, it's going to be very hot. And we're going to be using crayons. So I have these crayons here that I've already peeled the papers off of. We do not want to touch the rock because we do not want to burn our fingers. So some of them I left the paper on, and you can hold it by the paper part, and when it gets to where you're getting closer to your finger, you can stop using it. Or if that makes you nervous, this one I made an aluminum foil handle with a little bit of tape, and you don't have to worry about getting hurt. You could also use a clothespin, and you can clip the clothespin on and use that way. Or if you don't have a clothespin, you could use a wrench or pliers. They're not wrenches, they're pliers. I know the difference. So I think you're pretty brave. I'm going to let you pick one of these ways. But let me get you set up first. We do not want to hurt our table, so we're going to put some things down on the table to protect the surface. I have the rocks in the oven right now, and they are 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot. Do not touch them. Okay, so we've got two different ways we can do this, Mr. Joshua. We can either put down a few layers of cardboard or a towel. Which one do you think would work better?
I think for heat safety-wise, the cardboard might.
Okay, either way would work fine, but you can use the cardboard. And let me put a piece of aluminum foil to catch all of our drips, okay?
Right.
Now, I've got something to hold in my hand to keep my hand from getting burnt, and I've got my tongs.
Nice.
So I'm going to give you a nice flat one. And I'm going to give you one of these bumpy ones. And probably this little one right here might be fun. They're all hot, so do not touch them. Now, here's the fun part. Pick a color and just touch the rock and see what happens.
My favorite color is green, so let's see what happens with the green.
There we go.
I'll do it on this one right here. Right.
Look how cool.
It's melting
It's
right in
getting
there.
drippy. Can you move it around?
Looks like I can actually.
Wow.
Ah.
I wonder what would happen if you added other colors.
Let's give it a try there. How about some blue?
Oh, I can see some smoke coming off the rock.
Right. Teal action there.
Wow. That's cool.
Getting the feel for nature here. So
There you
combining
go.
those nature colors together. Add in some dark here. Okay.
It's getting very swirly. I like the way it drips down the sides too.
Let's see there. Add one more. Maybe yellow, Mike.
Ooh, look at that. That's very cool.
wouldn't think heat would do this much, but I tell you, it's pretty cool.
So we have solid crayons, and they're turning to liquid when they touch the hot rock. Huh. So when the rock cools down, what do you think the crayons will do?
I believe they're going to also freeze on the rock.
They'll turn back to solid because at room temperature, when the rock cools down, the crayons will go back to being solid.
It's true.
Try it on one of the bumpy ones and see if it makes a different design.
Start right here.
Ooh, wow, it goes into all the little cracks. That's very cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Ooh. Closer you get to it, faster it melts.
That's right. And the rocks will stay hot for quite a while, so you don't have to rush. And once you're all done, you have to set your rocks aside for several hours, maybe even overnight, to make sure that they cool off the whole way. Oh, I like the way the blue mixes into the cracks with the green.
Nice shade there.
Yeah.
I'll try some orange this time.
That's really cool. Actually, it's very hot.
Bun it up through, yes.
Cool. All right, well, I'm going to take this out of your way so we can try our other thing, and I'm going to let these cool. But here's one that I had done yesterday, and you can now hold it. It's nice and cool.
Woo.
But once it's nice and cool, what makes it really nice is you can buff it up. Polish that up and see if we can get a nice shine on it. I'm going to move these out of our way so they can cool.
Is
it getting nice and shiny?
Yeah.
And it kind of feels nice to hold it in your hand, doesn't it? It's nice and smooth, sort of like a wishing stone.
Got it. Yep. Spinning around.
There you go. All right, so let's try our second project. Our second project is just painted rocks. Here, let me take that out of your way.
Welcome.
All right. So for our painted rocks, we have some examples here that were already done. We have one that's painted to look like a bee, because we love bees here at Amazement Square. And we've got some that just have daisies or leaves on them. And these, because they were gravelly pieces, I thought they would make cool strawberries. What do you think?
Can I eat one?
No, you can't. You would break your tooth.
Dang.
But you could trick somebody, but they might break their tooth. So make sure you tell them it's a trick before they bite down. This one is called a mandala. Have you ever seen a mandala before?
I haven't actually. I've heard of them though.
So it's an ancient practice of making things in a nice round pattern like this, and oftentimes with the dots. They're a lot easier to paint sometimes because you can use a special technique that I'll show you in a minute. So let me get those out of our way and get you a clean surface to work, and you can pick out what kind of rock that you would like to start with while I get our paints out.
It's one of those epic go big, go home. Go with the big
There
one.
you go. Are you going to paint a design, Joshua, or do you think you're going to paint a mandala?
I think this one, since we're in the season of March here, and spring is starting to spring up, I think it's only proper that we get a 4-leaf clover going on.
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
idea. That's a good idea. There's lots of green things starting to sprout outside too. I'll make sure I put a lot of green on the plate here for you.
Awesome.
All right. So I have cotton swabs, and I have all of these different paintbrushes that you can use. Depending on what it is you're trying to do with your design, you need to pick out which thing would be the best way to put your paint onto your rock. And really, there's no wrong way. Anything you do is going to turn out really cool. You just have to decide what you want to do.
Okay.
Now sometimes when you're doing something like our bumblebee rock, it's better if you wait till one layer of paint dries the whole way before you put the other layer on. So when I painted that one, I did the yellow part first. I just painted the whole rock yellow, and then I waited till it dried, and then I put the black stripes on. And then after the black stripes were dry, then I painted the wings on. Because if you don't wait between, it'll just kind of blur together and it won't look so pretty.
It's true.
I'm going to put a little black here. And while you're doing that, I am going to start painting one too. we'll just share our paint palette here.
Let's see.
I already got green. A little bit of purple maybe.
Nice.
Lovely. Which one should I paint? I think I might do another mandala. Which one's sort of round? I'm gonna go with this one. How's it coming?
So far, so good.
I like it.
Leaf numero uno on hand.
Are you doing a 3-leaf clover, which is known as a shamrock, or are you going to do a 4-leaf clover?
Going to a 4, actually.
Ooh,
Yes.
very lucky.
Challenge kids, if you can find a 4-leaf clover today, feel free to show us one.
That's right. There are a lot of 4-leaf clovers out there right now. My daughter actually found a 5-leaf clover yesterday. It's amazing.
Never even knew there was a 5.
I never did either, and then she found it.
My goodness.
I'm going to make a blue heart on mine. Because blue is my favorite color. And hearts are fun.
So it's gonna be.
What do you think?
Quite lovely.
It's just a little rock, but it just needs a little heart that way. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I have some water here we can rinse our brushes too.
Perfect. That would work.
I get the first rinse so the water turns blue for me. And then we can just dry them on our towel here.
Ready.
I think I might make a design around my heart too. Maybe this color blue. I like painting.
It's pretty fun, actually. Yeah.
And I like painting rocks especially because you can find them almost anywhere.
It's true.
So I know some people that like to paint rocks and then they put them outside for other people to find. So when you're done painting your rock, Mr. Joshua, what do you think you might do with yours?
I think I may take mine out on the trail, spot it, and try and hide it in a very discreet area for someone to hopefully find.
That's a good idea. Do you think you might be able to find Mr. Joshua's rock? Look, I made mine with blue lines around it to make it a little fancier. Wow, I like that. That came out really nice.
Looking pretty good.
So you could give your rock to a friend, you could keep it as a decoration, or you could do like Mr. Joshua plans and hide it along a trail or somewhere else that you might be. Maybe if you go for a walk in your neighborhood, you could hide it at the edge of someone else's yard. And how surprised would they be when they look down and see a fancy rock all of a sudden? So I'm going to set these aside, and I want to show you. Look, it even matches your shirt. I'm going to show you how to do the mandala painting, because these are fun. So I'm going to give you this sort of, let me find the roundest looking one we've got. That one's pretty round, right? So with this one, we only want to make dots. So if you take the end of your brush, not the brush part, but the handle end, and just dip it in the paint, it makes a dot, a perfectly round dot. And so what we're trying to do with the mandala is make everything in a circle. So you make a tiny circle in the middle, and then a bigger circle, and a bigger circle, and you keep making your circles bigger and bigger until your whole rock is covered with dots. And you can see how I started it with this one. Okay?
Makes sense there.
Yeah. And if you don't have the paintbrushes like we do, That's okay too, because that's where things like Q-tips come in handy. You can make a big dot by using the whole Q-tip. See how it makes those dots? Just like that. Perfectly round.
True,
I couldn't have done that with the brush. Or you can pull the cotton part off and get just to the cardboard stem in the middle, and that'll make a small dot. So look how small my dots can be. See? Isn't that neat?
It's quite well there.
Yeah. Nice, perfectly round dots. So you can find anything else that you might have at your house. You could use the end of a pencil. You could use the tip of a sharp part of the pencil or the eraser end. You could even use toothpicks. Think of all the small things that you can find around the house that are flat and round at the end that you can make dots with.
True.
So what colors or dots are you going to start with for your mandala?
Well, seeing how we've got a little dab of each color, I figured a rainbow outline.
Oh, that's a good idea. Go for it.
Let's see. If I recall, the first color in the rainbow would be the red.
It is. That's true.
Rock that right in the center.
And I have fatter brushes too if you want bigger dots.
Okay.
Plus there's the Q-tips.
Let's see.
Keep that in mind. Sometimes it makes it more interesting if you use different sizes of dots for different colors. But it's entirely up to you. And every one is unique, which makes it extra fun. Oh, orange is next?
Orange, yeah.
Nice. Might have to put more paint on your brush. On your brush handle.
Right up.
Nice.
Right.
Cool. Oh, here's a paper towel for you too. If you need
That'll work.
it. There you go.
I'm sure you guys know which color comes next.
Which one? We have red, we have orange.
Yellow.
That's right, it's yellow.
Slightly bigger there.
Oh, that maybe that pointy part on the end of that brush is interfering a little bit. It's not quite so flat. But I like the way you're doing like the triple tap. Let's put the paint in place. Yeah. Nice technique there.
So think off the top.
That's right.
Gives you that edge. Technique-wise, that is.
So what comes after yellow? Does anybody remember? Red, orange, yellow.
I'm sure you know it. I'm wearing it right now. It's a green. Right, this brush works quite well there.
Very nice. It takes some experimenting too. And that's part of the fun. So the paint that we're using is acrylic craft paint. You've probably seen these at the store. They come in all different brands. I think I've got 3 brands right here. It doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as it says that it's acrylic or acrylic enamel. But this kind of paint, once it's dry, it's permanent. So you don't want to get this on your clothes unless you're wearing old clothes that don't matter. But once it dries, it won't wash off, which is why it's a nice paint for using on rocks. Now what color are you going to use? Why don't you try a Q-tip?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Red, orange, yellow, green.
That comes that blue.
My favorite.
Now, we're going to go even further around.
Wow. Hey, I noticed you don't have to dip the Q-tip so many times.
Ah,
Wow, you have a whole lot of dots there with just one dip in the paint puddle.
believe it has something to do with the cotton on the Q-tip,
It
doesn't
probably does. It's working more like a brush.
Ah.
You have more blue dots than any other color, and you made it the whole way around without dipping again. That's pretty cool. So you've got the idea. What do you think of painting rocks?
It's pretty unique, actually. And actually, I feel like it's a pretty good way to sort of like have like a calm objective while using something that you can collect out in nature.
It is.
Together.
It's a very calming activity. I like it. I could do this for hours. But we don't have hours. So, whoops, my oven's beeping. Let me shut it off. All right. Our last idea is, what do we do with our rocks if we don't want to save them, if we don't want to give them away, and if we don't want to hide them? We could make a game. Let me take these out of the way, because I don't want your rock to get messed up while it's drying. Have you ever heard of tic-tac-toe?
Who hasn't? My goodness.
I like tic-tac-toe, but the problem I always have with tic-tac-toe is I don't have enough paper to keep writing tic-tac-toe over and over again. So, this morning, I had an old pair of blue jeans that I didn't need anymore. They had holes all through them. So I cut the leg off my blue jeans, and then I cut a nice square piece, and I took my white paint and I painted my tic-tac-toe grid. Just like that. And if you don't have a pair of old blue jeans that you can cut up, or an old t-shirt, or any other kind of fabric, and if you're going to cut up clothes, make sure you ask a grown-up first, because they should approve which clothes get cut up. But if you don't have clothes to cut up, you can use sticks. I found these outside this morning. Anything at all that you can think of, you can line up, and you can make a grid.
Yeah. You use paper towels.
Yeah. Or you could even draw the tic-tac-toe grid one time on one piece of paper and use it over and over again, because we're not going to write X's and O's. We're going to use our rocks. So, I have 5 daisies, 5 strawberries, and 5 leaves. And for a good tic-tac-toe game, each person should have 5 of something. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as there's 5. You can make them just all one color, or you could even paint X's or O's on your rocks.
It's true. Yes.
So what would you like to be?
So I'm sticking with the green. We're gonna rock the leaves.
Ah, good job. I think I'll be daisies, because daisies are my favorite flower. All right, you can go first.
Okay. In the middle there.
Oh, you took the middle spot. All right, I'll take the corner.
I will hit right here.
Go in that corner.
Yeah. Rock it here.
Ooh, I blocked you.
Oh my!
But I also got tic-tac-toe.
tic-tac-toe. My goodness.
All right, let's do a rematch. This time we'll use our blue jean grid. How's that?
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, you can go first again since I beat you the first time.
No worries.
All right, I'm going to take the middle this time.
Go for it. I should rock. So here.
Are you trying to trick me?
Of course.
Well, I'm going to go right here then.
Here.
You
I
blocked
go.
me. Oh no!
And
There's 2 different ways that Joshua could win now.
now.
Are you a tic-tac-toe expert?
In my spare time.
I had no idea. Now, if I put my daisy here, what's Mr. Joshua going to do?
I'm going to go right over here.
Uh-huh. So if I put my daisy here, what's Mr. Joshua going to do?
I'll go right over here.
He won.
Ta-da!
Hi, elbow.
Back at you. Yes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed playing with rocks with us today. We had our hot rock project, and then we had our painted rock project, and now we've made a game with our painted rocks. We had a good time. And then Mr. Joshua is going to be hiding his rock. Don't forget, it's almost dry.
Yes.
Someday, if you're out going for a walk and you see this rock, you remember who painted it, right? I'll let you hold that, Mr. Joshua.
Pleasure.
So we're so happy that you came to join us today for WonderArt Wednesday. Don't forget to come back again, because every day we'll have a brand new Amazement Square Anywhere.
Haha.